You are listening to the Strange Oddities Podcast on the KGRA Radio Network. Please visit their website, kgraradio.com. You are listening to the Strange Oddities Podcast, which rebroadcast on the KGRA Radio at 2 a.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. Pacific Time.
And please welcome your host of Strange Oddities Podcast, Matthew J. Haas.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting night of the Strange Oddities Podcast. I'm your host, Matthew J. Haas. And as always, we just get the logistics out of the way right away. As you guys heard on my little intro video there, we do have a Facebook page. We broadcast not only on Facebook, but on YouTube. Guys, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you haven't already, just click that little bell at the top right corner of the screen of our Strange Oddities Podcast YouTube channel. Message me if you have any trouble finding it. I'll be able to, help you out as best I can. As always, I want to thank our last guest that we had on the last episode of Strange Oddities Podcast, was author Gabriella Coleman. We had the author of the notorious Anonymous global organization hacker kind of organization she wrote a book about. She's lead speaker of Anonymous. I want to thank her again publicly for being a guest on Strange Oddities Podcast. So guys, I'm real excited. I have two special guests tonight. Not just one, I have two special guests on the Strange Oddities Podcast. You guys may be very familiar with them. They're two very well-known, widely recognized faces in the paranormal community. They recently purchased a very well-known property that inspired the iconic horror movie, The Conjuring, which had multiple movies. It was a hit in theaters. Again, they had spinoffs off of it, Annabelle and all that. The Warrens and the Johnson brothers all investigated this place many years ago. We're going to bring these nice people in here. We have Mr. Cory and Miss Jen Heinzen, the current proud owners of the farm on Round Top Road, which is now known as, which inspired the movie The Conjuring. Guys, welcome to the Strange Oddities Podcast. I appreciate you doing the show tonight. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Hey, no problem. Again, it was good to see you guys again. We saw them not that long ago. We did our own little investigation with a bunch of other, fellow colleagues and investigators from different groups that we moonlight with and work with. Gosh, we have so much to talk about tonight, but where did you guys come into? What drew you to say, let's purchase this property? Let's live here, I guess, do what you do there. What was your goal? What was your inspiration to say, let's go, live here at the farm on Round Top Road now that it's known as?
I mean, honestly, we didn't think we were going to get it, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
It was just a shot in the dark. We saw a Facebook post that somebody put.
You did. Not
Well,
me.
sorry. I saw a Facebook post at like 4:00 in the morning that said, all it said was the lady was going to be selling the house. And I knew some people down there, made some phone calls and got in touch with the realtor. The realtor got us in touch with the owner, and we just started talking. and she really didn't want to make a big deal out of it. She didn't want to put it like on the market because she knew it was going to turn into like a fiasco. So we're like, what do you want for it? We'll see if we can get it. And we just started going down that road. And then it's like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, at least we tried. And it just kept going and going and going. And
everything just fell into place.
Yeah. It was scary.
It was scary because we really didn't think it would happen. It's one of those things where we just didn't think it would happen.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a dream, so to speak. Do you guys feel like it was a calling? Did the house call you? Did you was this kind of like something you really wanted to do in your future, or?
I don't necessarily think it was a calling before we went to the house, but the first time we visited the house, you've seen it. It's beautiful, and I feel like it was like an addiction after that. Like
I've always wanted to own a property, like a haunted property like that. Just
right.
Just to have a haunted place.
Yeah, just to have a haunted place to call my own.
Yeah.
But, it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the house itself has kind of, I wouldn't say a bad reputation, but it's grown a very big reputation in the paranormal community because of the Conjuring movies, the books that got inspired with the Perrin family that lived there prior, and all that history. Speaking of history, let's give our viewers and listeners a little bit about Jen and Cory. Like those who do not know about Jen and Cory, let's tell them, how did you guys get started in the paranormal, and where did you guys start out? Whoever wants to go first.
I had an experience. I've always been into this kind of stuff, but I never really had any experiences growing up. But back in 2001, I was in the Marine Corps, and we used to have what they call battlefield studies. And what we would do, it's like a camaraderie building exercise. We'd go out on a Civil War battlefield, spend the night, our platoon would spend the night, and then the next morning we'd walk and talk with the tour guide, look at the area, and then we would separate into two groups and how we would attack it and stuff, knowing what we know and stuff. Well, anyways, that night prior to the tour, we woke up like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to like gunfire, cannon fire, screaming and stuff like that. And I mean, there's like 50 of us out there, and I've never experienced anything like that, let alone with like everybody else. So the tour guide came out the next morning. He's like, "Oh yeah, it happens all the time." It's like, no, it don't. I don't know where you've been, but I've never heard of this happening. You know, and I was just amazed by it. And, then I started watching TV shows and stuff like that. And once I retired, I really started fulfilling it full time as far as like pursuing it.
Right. Traveling. And so once he got into it, he kind of reeled me into it. He's definitely gone to more places than I have. He's more seasoned than I am, but I've always just loved being part of it. And for me, I like to review the footage. I like to do the evidence part.
That to me is like the hardest part, but it's the most rewarding. Like when you do, like
when you find something so exciting.
Yeah, my wife and I are always arguing with like EVP sessions. That's not an EVP. That's movement. We're always like, getting on each other's cases and debating what's an EVP and what isn't. Yeah. So you guys find yourselves, you guys do that as a lot as a couple, or?
Not really. I think in the beginning, because he was into it more in the beginning than I was, he would come home and he'd have me listen to something, and because I wasn't there and I wasn't part of that part of it yet, it's almost like I had that. That's not really what that is. You're hearing stuff. Until you're there, I guess, and experience everything for yourself.
Right.
That's when you get drawn.
It was really annoying.
But
like, how do you not hear that?
I was trying to debunk, and I'm like, that's not that. That's not it. That's nothing.
Yeah. See right there. Yeah, no, right there, you remind me of me and my wife, because she's more the skeptic than I am. I guess you could say I'm more the believer, and she's got like the healthy skepticism part, and always saying, no, like I said, that's not an EVP, that's somebody moving, like,
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But again, like review is like kind of the best part of everything because you don't know like what you're going to have like later on. And like if you do find a discovery or a finding of something that you investigated, and you find a response to something that you asked or, or something on video that you're looking for particularly, and then there's something there, to me, that's the reward.
Right. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. So, well, I'm sure you guys are getting bombarded left and right ever since you guys purchased the farm on Round Top Road. What kind of got you guys to coin the name of the farm on Round Top Road? I know there's a lot of history in the area, and I've seen like there's like other sites of Round Top Road nearby, and is there any like significances to the name or?
Not really. We just knew we couldn't use the Conjuring because it would be copyrighted. So we just figured if we even tried, we'd get in trouble. We just kind of picked it.
It's a farm on Round Top Road. I mean,
we just give everybody an idea of at least where the road was.
Right. Yeah. And then, everybody's thinking, oh, it's been in this, iconic horror movie, and they're thinking it's this like crazy looking old house, and here's this cute little farmhouse sitting on, all this acres of property. And what many people don't know about is the history behind the house, which there were some things that Cory told us during the tour that I didn't even know about myself till we got there, which is like, I think a lot of people should know about before they get into there, because I think you shouldn't be biased with like the movie and Hollywood stuff. You should appreciate the farm a little bit more with the actual history and things that took place there.
Right. Because the history is more than just the parents. I mean, it goes way, it's all bundled up.
Yeah.
It's rich in American history. I mean, there's some big names that were involved with the house that we find amazing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And even battlefield, Cory, that you had mentioned, there was like a battle nearby in which part of the land. And I'm sure that area itself could have activity, with the energy there from that thing. And, that's like a lot of stuff that I didn't know about. When you told me about that, I was like, oh, wow. And like, yeah. So in my opinion, the house is like still very active. When you guys first moved in, did you guys have any personal experiences when you first moved in?
Yeah, I mean, it was active even day one when we first moved in. I mean, we were already hearing noises, doors were already opening. It didn't take very long before you and Bill saw the black mist, and then Kyla saw it.
Yeah.
Within like 3 weeks, we saw the
shadow figure.
Yeah, I keep saying apparition, but even still to this day, nothing like chairs are not flying across the room, tables are not levitating. It's nothing like the movie.
Right.
It's your normal every day.
But they bring up a point with that, and like the more and more like we hear it, it makes sense, is that the energy that people give off is what the spirits are going to generate from. And the parent, like the circumstances that the parents had are totally different than ours. Like, the family we bought the house from, they said they had nothing going on, probably because they weren't looking for it. Us, we went in there like looking for it. Yeah,
we talked to them like
they were like roommates. So we're opening ourselves up to that, and they're showing themselves. The parents, they had turmoil and stuff like that, and
they had 5 young girls.
5 young girls, and yeah, it's
a different.
Yeah, it's total different circumstances, and what they went through is totally different than what we're going through, because I think we're more accepting of it, and we're expecting it.
Right.
Not saying it can't happen.
Well, we're also analyzing it, and I feel like the spirits know that. I mean, we've got cameras everywhere, so we're
Yeah, you do. You have cameras everywhere. Do you guys capture a lot of stuff on the cameras? You share just like we were only there like a little bit, and you guys just are there every day. I
Yeah.
can't imagine how much stuff you guys catch.
We have this. We have so much on video, but it's amazing to me the stuff that we should have on video that's caught off camera. Like you've seen the library and the baking room and the seance room. Those 3 cameras are quite close together, and you think you'd cover the whole area, but it amazes me, like the picture frame that came across the thing that misses all of it except for the small frame of the corner, and like
Wow.
it just amazes me, like the things that happen just outside of the camera.
Right. Now, what's great that you brought up the energy, Cory, before we were talking about that a little bit before we started the podcast. I think it's extremely important that people know that, like, in my opinion, like I don't live there. I don't work there every day, and I don't go there every day. You guys know the place better than anybody, but what happened to the Perron family happened to them because of what happened with them. Like, there was things that occurred with their family because it was attached to their family. There's stuff that happened to them personally because it was, attracted to them and their energy. And I think, again, that you brought up a good point, how your energy is, so, and how your intent is, and whatever intelligent energy that is there is well aware of that, and they're going to come and communicate with the energy that's more open and more acknowledging of who they are.
Right. I totally agree.
Oh, absolutely. And there's so many layers to that place that you're dealing with just spirits, but then you look at the elementals that we think we're dealing with, because when you start dealing with like black mists and black shadows and stuff like that, you start going down the Native American side of hauntings and the way those things turn out.
Right.
So it's a smorgasbord
of what ifs.
Really? Yeah. Like you said, there's layers, just layers and layers and layers. It dates back to what, the late 1600s, I think.
1680 is when it was deeded.
That was a good guess on my part, if I remember.
That was a good job.
Yeah, I pay attention. I do my homework. So yeah, late 1600s. So I mean, if you all those layers and time periods of history, just even the land itself, Native American history, the battle, that really interests me a lot. What happened on the land there before the farm? We don't know what was there before the farm either.
Right.
Just from hearsay or like, schematics of the land, what you have access to as far as records. But elemental spirits are tough to deal with.
Right. And we think that's where the energy comes from, is the land. We don't think the house itself. I think it's just the location. I think it's the land and the history of the area. Because our neighbor has
our neighbors
going on as well.
Yeah, the whole all that land around there was huge during the King Philip's War.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, and per capita, that was the bloodiest war that Americans ever fought in, like in all wars combined, and that was before we were even America.
Right.
But I mean, they were killing women and children on both sides. There was nothing was off limits. That was just the mentality back then.
Right.
So
yeah, I don't think it's even the house. I really just think it's the land. It's the area that it's in, and it just happens to be
right.
all of it combined.
Sure. I'm sure. Well, since you guys have started living there and doing what you do there, you've gotten a lot of visitors since you started to live there. Since you've started offering public investigation, there is a question in the chat, if you guys don't mind answering real quick. Ron Iacovetti asks, what was the most starting piece of evidence that someone presented to you that they captured at the house?
I think it's the
SLS camera.
I do.
Everyone loves the SLS camera. I love that. I love the SLS.
I love it too, and I know there's a lot of controversy with it, but this is we've shown it on a couple of things already, but this is, I don't know if everyone knows the history of the crooked neck lady, but this is a group that came to investigate, and they were down in the basement, and the SLS camera had like a crooked neck figure, and he was interacting with it, asking it to pick up its neck, and it's taking its hands, and it's one hand trying, and the thing with the SLS camera too is it's usually only 15 seconds, 20 seconds. This was what, like three and a half minutes, and he just to it and interacting with it, and finally it got its head all the way up, and he's praising it and saying good job, and I think the woman there asks it to wave, and it waves. Like, I know there's so much controversy when it comes to the SLS, but when you can interact like that, to me it's just like that by far is my favorite evidence that someone's captured. I don't know if you have a different answer, but
I was going to say Ron got some crazy stuff with his.
He did. What box is that? I keep wanting to call it.
No. He was one with the direct responses.
Direct radio. Yeah, direct radio.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call it like the. I keep wanting to call it something else.
You're thinking Tony.
Well, it's similar to that though, right? With the radio.
No, that was a ghost box.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was similar to the same stuff.
Yeah, Ron gets great stuff through the DRV radio equipment that he works with. I've personally have experienced a lot of crazy responses that we get during really good sessions with it. Yeah. He's really incredible with what he does with the what he works with. I can't imagine the things we haven't even gone over everything that everyone else has captured, even though that was back in July. But what were some of the things that you heard or overheard that what people experienced during the night that we were there? I know Brianna had a crazy experience down in the basement.
I don't know if I heard that one.
No?
I don't know if I heard that one.
Oh, okay. Well, Brianna, Gerard Simonelli's daughter, Laura's daughter. We were in the basement by the stairs where the little boy was, the story of the little boy by the staircase. Right. So we were doing an EVP session over there with Keith Johnson and his relative, Dave, that was there with him. And so it was me, Gerard, his daughter, Laura, and my wife. And Brianna's just standing there. We're asking random questions, and she felt this sensation on her hand, like a burning or like a scratching that she felt was kind of awkward. And it was enough for her to startle her because wasn't quite sure, what was going on. She's still young. She's, a little bit inexperienced as far as investigating because she just started a couple of years ago. But I think she had a very emotional experience. I think a lot of paranormal emotions started to maybe overcome her a little bit, and she was shaken up. So she had to leave the house, to kind of catch some air and just kind of regroup herself a little bit. And Keith Johnson actually was very concerned about her because of the type of energy that affected her. He wanted to make sure she was all right, so he gave her a little bit of a blessing and stuff like that, which I thought was very nice of him to offer that to her. But she's been fine ever since. But I think personally she's an empath, and like we know how empaths pick up on things, and I told Laura that I really feel that Brianna's an empath.
Wow. Did it shake her up enough? Like, was she okay the next day? I didn't hear about that at all.
Yeah, I could have sworn I mentioned it to you, but maybe I overlooked that. But yeah, no, she was fine the next day. I mean, she was, again, it was dramatic enough for her to be a little bit shaken up, and it startled her at first, in order for her to regroup herself to leave the house. I told her to leave, in case there was anything negative going on. I didn't want her to experience something negative, but I just I said go get some air. Sometimes if you leave and go back, you feel better. She was fine the next day though. She was fine.
Well, good. That's so weird.
Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Like, I think with the house too, I think again, everybody's energy is different. Everyone's different, and everybody's going to have different experiences in that house. And I think that's how that house kind of reminds me a lot of Hinsdale House and how the Hinsdale House affects people.
Really?
Yeah, very similarities.
Yeah. I don't think we've heard anyone's evidence from that night, though.
No.
No, I did play you the growl.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. What did you guys think of that audio clip? I thought that was interesting because of the type of question that was being asked.
Yeah.
You
Was
know,
that remind me? Was that in the middle bedroom upstairs or the
it
basement?
was where the well was in the basement.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were doing an EVP session,
Yeah.
and just asked random questions. I think it was my wife that asked about Bathsheba's children, and this, that dark history with Bathsheba in regards to her children, and I was saying something about respect, and I said, we're here with utmost respect, and that's when we got the growl, and I thought that was interesting considering I was talking about respect.
Right. After talking about the children.
Yeah. So it could be coincidental, but again, it sounded like a growl to me. Because Gerard was funny. He's like, it sounds like a pig noise on the recorder, and I'm like, and then Keith is like, well, there were animals on the farm. It was a farm.
Yeah, and with the size of the bulkhead and the big garage, the big door they had on the barn, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought animals down there.
Right. That's what Keith was saying. Yeah, he was like, it wouldn't be surprised if we got residual animal sounds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So. It did sound like a growl, but I would like to listen to it again and see if I could picture an animal.
Yeah, we'll have to go over stuff again. We'll have to get together and, just kind of like go recap kind of like our findings. Yeah, that'd be cool. So like, I don't know. So like, so far with all the teams that have been there, anybody who's had like the most crazy experience so far, anything stand out since our last visit?
Since the last visit?
Since the last visit?
We had somebody drop his cell phone down in the well, and I crawled down there and got it.
Oh, wow.
Before you guys came, we had a team come from Michigan, and they drove 12 hours to investigate for like 3 hours and got so spooked out they drove home.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It was back in the winter.
Yeah, it must have been winter, springtime. Because they tried to sleep out in their car.
They tried to sleep in their car, and then they were like, no, it's too much. So
yeah.
I don't think anything crazy.
Yeah. We've had a couple people that have been scratched, and which is kind of like totally random.
Yeah, a handful, and it doesn't matter man or woman.
They go outside and it automatically disappears. It's really, really strange. I know one of my friends got scratched, and he is probably the nicest guy you'll ever meet. So that kind of, I was like, what the? That doesn't make no sense. Why would they scratch him?
Oh, right. It was weird.
Yeah, Colin's visit was weird.
Colin Browen? Is that Browen?
Yeah.
He was there last week. He did a live stream. Well, I don't think it was a live stream. I think he posted a YouTube video, but he was, I don't even know how to explain it, because when the next morning we watched it on our footage, so when we watched the YouTube video, it was the first time seeing theirs, but he had like a weird experience in the middle bedroom. Like he sat down with his camera, and our camera's behind him. So the video that I could see when we watched it the next morning was he was just sitting there, and you could tell he was kind of like, from the angle, it looks like he almost starts to fall asleep because he starts to get a little wobbly.
Mm.
He drops his camera, and it's a nice camera, and he just kind of, everything after that's in slow motion. Like he drops it. Like the YouTube video that they posted wasn't even the length of how long it took. Like it's like you watch him drop it, and he's looking at it, and he goes to like slowly grab it, and then it's almost like our cameras have no audio, so if you were just watching it almost looks like he's drunk. Like he's so disoriented. It's
almost like time froze on him, almost like he was in slow motion and time froze. And
yeah,
that happens in the middle bedroom.
It was really weird. So it was nice. It was actually, we were excited to watch what his video from their angle and their audio looked like, because we had only seen it from our video camera with no audio. But
right.
Just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like the middle bedroom, and like you were saying, Corey, like that middle room in the on the first floor, the library. I guess you guys call that room the library.
Yeah.
That a lot of people feel like negative things from that particular area of the house. Would you say that's the heart of the house?
I'd say so.
Great possibility. I mean,
Yeah, I'd say so.
the thing is, like the house, it sits on two major ley lines,
Mm-hmm.
and it also sits on a major body of water.
Right.
The old New Hampshire River. The old New Hampshire River used to run down through there, but it was covered up during the last ice age.
Which we found that out recently.
Yeah,
it's kind
found
of cool.
that out recently.
Mm.
If you actually pull up Google Earth and look at the property, the rock wall that lines it is triangle shaped. Bless you.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Not COVID, we swear.
Allergies. But it
Yeah.
said that.
But then there's also two rock formations, just big rocks in the center of the yard that make up two giant circles.
Right.
That just.
And that's like when we talk about layers. There's so many weird there's after layer that contributes everything to. It's just weird.
Yeah. Well, you know, weird things happen in the paranormal. That's why we do these things. So, yeah, I just, if anybody's tuning in late, we're at 8:30 already into the show, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I want to thank Cory and Jen Heinzen for being guests on tonight's Strange Oddities podcast. We're talking with the proud current owners of the farm on Round Top Road, which inspired the movie The Conjuring. You know, it was Andrea Peron's family that lived there that actually inspired the movie The Conjuring. But, you know, that's where they lived, and all this crazy stuff started happening there. And it's still very active. There's other teams that have had, you know, numerous experiences there. You know, they've had personal experiences themselves. We have a couple of questions, guys. Did the group that got spooked ever explain to you guys what spooked them?
I think what spooked them the most is one of the girls in the group is a psychic medium, and I think she felt like she was personally being not necessarily attacked, but
singled out.
Yeah, I think she got a lot of creepy EVP sessions and spirit box, and I think she just felt like she was personally being targeted, and I don't know if it necessarily, it must have felt evil to her, I guess. She was just spooked out. So I think that's what probably started it all. Once she was spooked out, I'm sure everybody was just like.
Has anybody had any attachments like that brought back with them that they told you about, or?
Not that we know of.
No. Okay, that's good.
People say they come sometimes and have weird dreams and stuff, but nothing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people report that, like anything they see regarding the house, like YouTube videos, ghost adventures, blah blah blah. They always have lucid dreams.
Yeah.
Right.
I've read a lot of comments about that. I was like,
I think I even remember during the live stream people talking about that in the chat room.
Yeah.
About weird dreams.
No idea.
Yeah, lucid dreams can be crazy. I've had lucid dreams, and real funny story I'll tell everybody really quick. One night I was going to bed, and that sleep state, like right before you fall asleep, and that in between state, and I saw this like really creepy, scary looking Asian beetle hanging out like by my bedroom window on the inside. And I started freaking out because I'm like, this thing is nasty. It's huge. My wife sees it, she's going to freak out. And I started like getting up and like looking for it, because when I got up, it started to disappear. I don't know where it went. And I started tearing the whole house apart looking for this thing. And I realized when I got back to the bedroom that the lights were off, and when I had seen the Asian beetle, the lights were on. And when I said something ain't right here, and I had talked to somebody about it, like what you experienced was a lucid dream.
Wow. Was
Yeah.
this after you left the house, or?
Yeah, no, I don't know what it was, but no, I'm just glad I never found it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, but I was like, I couldn't believe I tore the whole house down, and like I have to find this thing, otherwise my wife is gonna freak out.
Seems so real, huh?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, places like that can have an effect on you in your dreams, and give you lucid dreams, and it starts to make a connection with that person again because of their energy.
Right.
Yeah. So if there's any questions in the chat, we're shooting some questions out to Jenna and Cory. Um, you know, for you guys, what is your the question? How am I going to put this? What's your hopes for the future for the farm on Round Top Road? Like, what do you like? Do you have any great plans in the future? Any big investigations or events, or you have any plans with people in the field? Any projects you plan on working on there?
We're working really hard to try and come up with a cool Halloween event, but I won't give too much away about that.
We want to investigate the supposed bodies buried in the wall.
Yeah, that's a
but people have just cautioned us with that. They're like, because once you start digging, and if you do find something, then it just turns into a whole fiasco, and then you don't know which road it's going to go down. Is it Native American? Is it a homicide? Is it, so it's like...
You saw when flags were flagged off, right?
Yeah.
The curiosity is just killing me now. It's one of those things where it's right there and really want to know.
Yeah, then you got to worry about the authorities if you do find... Right.
There's so much to it, but it's almost like it would, like...
Every time you look at them, they're like, come dig me.
It's like,
I want to, but I can't.
Right.
It would be so cool to solve it.
I mean, it's 6 feet deep. I mean, that just, I mean, come on.
I know.
What else is 6 feet deep?
I know.
Yeah, when you think of 6 feet, then you think of like other things, like like a gravesite or.
Yeah. So we're up in the air about that one.
Okay.
The bridge is the bridge was supposed to be our summer project that we haven't touched yet, but that's a big thing I'd like to do. Did you see how bad the bridge was?
Yeah, the bridge, yes.
Carl fell through.
Yeah, Carl.
He fell through. He didn't tell me.
Yeah, he didn't fall all the way through, but he fell right to
How he caught himself is beyond me.
He fell whole leg through.
He was there 1 second, and then he was gone the next. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. See, yeah. I don't take that risk with old bridges or old buildings with attics, and no, I don't want to fall anywhere.
Yeah, I am so thankful that he didn't hurt himself, because oh my god.
Yeah. Did other than having fall through the hole or almost into the
river underneath?
Yeah, I mean, did he have any experiences? 'Cause I haven't talked to him since, so
I don't know if he's been there. Well, aside from when you guys went through the woods and when he walked through James through the woods, I don't think he's been there to investigate since then.
No,
I don't think.
Just to go, there's a cemetery that I think used to be part of the property.
Maybe. Yeah.
But it's in Douglas, Massachusetts now. But back then, probably when it was first established, it was probably part of Burrville.
Mm-hmm.
But the state line had been moved so many times.
Right. It's a cemetery that's just a random cemetery.
Yeah, it's in the woods.
It's all.
I mean, it's recognized. It's on, it's on the map, but
right.
It's like 100 yards in Massachusetts. So, what are the chances
that the line was behind that beforehand? Yeah.
Wow. So
that's the thing we're looking into.
Yeah. And for those who don't know kind of the backstory with Carl, we're talking about Carl Johnson, Mr. Carl Johnson, demonologist who's now working with James and Ito, Duo Demonology, that they're doing a project together with. We had the awesome opportunity of actually investigating with him that night at the farm on Round Top Road. he was one of the very first investigators that were with the Warrens. When the Warrens came to help the Perron family, they were like one of the very first ones that were there to kind of like assess what was going on. I think before that story grew big, and they were kind of the first ones there. So that's why Carl is frequently there, because he kind of feels like that's kind of like his home, I guess, kind of say.
And Keith, they're
Yeah.
brothers.
And Keith, yes, I can't forget about Keith. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So little backstory there.
Yeah.
So we have another question, guys, in the chat from Ganyok Paranormal. Do you find that your dog's reacting to things that are not there, or perhaps they don't go to certain parts of the house? Ever get the feeling that they don't go to certain parts? I remember when we took the tour, they never go into the basement.
They never go into the basement. That's one part of the house they won't go into.
Right. Do they react in other areas of the house other than the basement?
There's been a few times in the middle of the night that they'll either sleep upstairs with us, or sometimes they like to stay downstairs with John. And John said a few times in the middle of the night they've gotten up and gone into the seance room, and we've watched them on camera, and they just Max is our chicken anyway, so with him it's really hard to tell, because seriously, if you open up a trash bag to put a trash bag in the trash can, he jumps like a chicken. So he's really hard to tell, but we really, other than them waking up in the middle of the night and doing random, like walking around the house randomly, we didn't have them at the house for a really long time. We left them in Maine for probably, I'd say a good six months.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they just enjoyed being with us. I think they were separated from us for so long. It was really than we expected. So
yeah.
And they love it.
Yeah, and they're such great dogs. They're beautiful German Shepherds, and I can tell how they were reluctant going into the basement. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, they definitely won't go into the basement. The Chihuahua, the little one, Missy, for some reason, she used to always go up and down the stairs like it was nothing. And now for some reason, if we can't find her, she's upstairs in the bedroom in one part of the room on like the dog bed. And it's a weird place for her to just, that's her go-to place, and she refuses to come downstairs. So it's weird. Other than that, it's not like she's growling or whining or anything, but she just won't come back down the stairs. And for some reason, that's where she continues to go. I don't know why.
Maybe she's playing with the spirit of Benjamin. I know we got Benjamin through our EchoVox session. A couple of times we got Benjamin communicating with us a couple of times, which was interesting because Benjamin was one of the children, and so maybe he's playing with the Chihuahua.
Maybe they like little puppies.
Yeah. I don't know. But it's a great house. Everybody's got to experience it at least once. And remember, there was a question in the chat. If there's anybody that wanted information how they can, contact you guys as far as sort of investigation, you guys do have a website where they can go to and schedule or book a paranormal team for a public investigation, right?
Yep. theconjuringhouse.com.
Very easy. theconjuringhouse.com. I think it's pretty simple.
Our Facebook page is The Farm on Round Top Road.
Right, The Farm on Round Top Road. Yeah, they couldn't get the name Conjuring House, which is a shame.
Well, we actually had it to begin with, but then our lawyer told us that we could get in trouble because it could be copyrighted, but then we lost admin rights to the account anyway. So there is a Facebook page that originally started that's called The Conjuring House. It's just we don't have access to it. There's no way for us to get in there. So I see people are posting stuff in there, but we can't do anything with it.
Sure. Here's another great question. Actually, it was going to be one of my questions. Do you guys, this is from Ganyok Paranormal again. Do you guys find that activity has increased since you purchased and started living there? Do you think it's increased since then?
I don't know. I would say not.
It's just a matter of seeing it.
Yeah. I think we're so comfortable that I think we're probably missing more now. I think in the beginning we we analyzed everything, and where it took us so long to even sleep in the other half of the house. I think we had so many audio recorders set up at night, and we literally analyzed everything. And now it's just because it's home. I think we
just getting used to it
because we're just there,
Yeah.
Things out of place unless a door's open that we knew was closed, or a candle's on the floor, random stuff. We'll go back and we'll record it, but we don't review evidence at all anymore. We've got
Right.
I'd say.
Yeah.
How has the neighborhood been with you guys ever since you guys moved there? Have they been like, welcoming you with open arms, or have you gotten a lot of support from your neighbors, or
Next question.
I
think they were welcoming in the beginning, when we've gone to the town to get event permits before. We had a lot of neighbors that were there complaining, not protesting, but they wanted to be heard, trying to get it so that we couldn't do events there. And their biggest complaint, which I 100% agree with them, their biggest complaint is the people that stop in the middle of the road, or the people that turn around in their driveways. And you've seen that main road. It's a busy road. I think it's 45, 50. I think it's 45 miles an hour. There's no place to pull off on each side. So most of the time when people pull over, they are stopped in the middle of the road, so traffic has to go around them. It's too fast for cars to try, and somebody's got to get hurt one of these days.
Right.
And the cars that turn around in their driveway, they do it all the time. We've seen them on the cameras at 12:30 at night. We see it. We know it's an issue. We don't know how to help it or stop it. And I think their problem is they think we're inviting it by letting people in. So they just have to stop what we're doing, which I think people are going to do the same thing no matter what. And we just feel like people are curious, and if we appease their curiosity, it'll help a little. I don't think just stopping it completely is the answer. I think we're going to have that issue no matter what.
Right.
So we try and tell people, please respect the neighbors. Please,
Right. Yeah, just you got to give it the location the utmost respect. If you're gonna go and visit there, just give it all of it respect. Because if you don't, you're not gonna get respected. So,
right.
But look at the guy, the owners over the years of the Amityville house. People that go and stop at the Amityville house over by us. We've heard of owners coming out with shotguns, chasing people out because they don't want people on their property. So, that's why, like, those things are interesting to me because, I can't imagine, like, having that reputation to deal with, what you guys deal with on an everyday basis has got to be tough.
Yeah. The hard part is we understand it. We understand the curiosity. I mean, Cory himself, the year before we bought the house, him and Bill parked the vehicle down at the boat launch and walked the road and walked by. So we totally get the curiosity. I get it. It's just hard to watch people stop in the middle of the road and see another vehicle come up behind them and cringe like, oh, there's going to be an accident. It's unsafe. It's hard to watch. We understand the curiosity, and that's why we think by letting people in, it won't be as bad. But
right. No, I totally get it. Just do it safely. I mean, just, do it the right way. Don't do it the wrong way. And, just be respectful of the area and the neighbors. Without the neighbors,
we've talked about building a fence so that you can't see, because I figure that's the only way to stop people.
Right.
Is I don't know what else to do to help it. Like,
yeah, no, I get that, How long have you guys owned the house now?
June was a year.
A year. Oh, wow. Oh, congratulations. I can't believe it's been that long already.
I know.
Yeah. I know you guys just recently did a big national TV gig, I think, on one of the networks. You guys were guests on a show.
Oh, to tell the truth, that was a lot of fun. That was fun. They flew us out to California, and we were there for a couple of days, and that was a lot of fun. It was awesome to see the backstage stuff, the hair, the makeup. They put me in like 4 or 5 different outfits, and the practicing before the cameras go live, and there was a live audience, and it was interesting. He was a nervous wreck.
It's like investigating. You're on camera all the time anyway.
Well, the thing was, they took my hat away. Like the one thing.
Oh boy.
You can ask her. The one thing I asked, I said, "Can I wear a hat?" And they said, "Absolutely." So I brought a brand new hat out there. I was like, "Oh, good." We get on stage, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't wear that." So I'm standing behind this giant silhouette, and it shows your shadow. I look like Shrek, like I have no neck. I'm like,
it's because this beard.
This is stupid. I'm like, I just look dumb. Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. It was fun though.
Yeah, that's show business for you, and editing. So yeah, believe me, I'm just glad they get me from the neck up, and I don't like body shots. So, but yeah, no, it's stuff like that. Is fun to do once in a while. I recently was on Paranormal Night Shift back in February. So I can't wait for that episode to premiere. I believe it's going to be episode number 8, by the way, guys. Yeah, so it'll be on the Travel Channel, Paranormal Night Shift. Episode number 8 will be my episode, so I can't wait to see that.
You'll post it when you know it's coming, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And Anthony Simonelli, who's in the chat room, want to say hello to him. He's also got an episode on Paranormal Night Shift. I believe he's episode number 13, I think Tobin had said. Nice. So, yeah, a couple of people I know that have been on there. It was a lot of fun. It's nice to have companies fly you out and, have that whole experience behind production crew and what they do. And
it was neat. I felt pampered.
Yeah. So it's nice to feel that way once in a while. As far, do you guys invest you guys have your hands full with the farm on Round Top Road? Do you guys still involved with the paranormal? Do you do your own investigations outside of the farm on Round Top Road, or are you just so busy that that's kind of died down a little bit for you guys? Or
I'd say it's died down a lot.
Yeah.
We investigated anywhere last year. We went to Penhurst this year. We've been to the SK Pierce and to the Wilson Castle.
Yeah.
And we're going to
Murdoch
Whitney soon. So definitely we've done more this year. I don't think we went anywhere last year.
No.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite places that you have investigated so far? I know there's so many, probably.
He's been to way more than I have. I know when you went to Penhurst a couple of years ago, that was your favorite, wasn't it?
Yeah, Penhurst, hands down, is probably the, end all be all, I think. But other people disagree. But there's some great places out on the West Coast for everybody that's out on the West Coast.
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years, down in Old Town San Diego in the gas lamp, that you could find a haunted. Everybody's like, oh, the Whaley House. Well, there's actually a house called the William Heath Davis House that I thought was 10 times more active. And that was just incredible.
This one you and Raj went to?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the Whaley House. I've been to Penhurst couple of times. I did an event at Penhurst a couple of years back. One of Bob Christopher's events that he did. Bob Christopher from Ghost Detective, invited me to speak there and stuff, and that was a great experience. But yeah, the energy in Penhurst is very overwhelming, sometimes overbearing in certain spots. And I remember my wife and I just walking around, and there's a couple of rooms that you go into, you can just like for me personally, when I feel a wave of energy, it just hits you like a ton of bricks just out of nowhere, and you just have to stop yourself, go, whoa, I feel that.
Right. Penhurst in February, it was my first time going, but it was so cold that I think I was so distracted trying to keep warm that it kind of ruined it for myself. It was my first time being there, so it was amazing.
I remember them bringing us through the basement the first time we went through there, and they're like, yeah, we had a guy down here get hit with a Oh, what was it?
Axe?
No, they threw a pipe.
Oh, yeah.
Had a pipe thrown at him.
Wow.
You know, and everybody's like, "Oh, wow, that's amazing!" And I'm like, "Why would you just leave a pipe for them to throw?" I'm like, "You got to take this stuff away from them."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Good Lord."
Yeah, right. Wow, a pipe. I don't want to be hit in the head with a pipe.
No,
Not on an investigation. No way.
Oh, no.
Yeah. What's on your bucket list as far as places you have never been yet that you want to do?
the only place, like, honest to God, Preveglia. If I could go anywhere, Preveglia Island over in Italy, Venice.
Yeah.
But
Cool.
I would love to do that.
I don't ever think that happen.
It'll happen sometime.
Hey, never say never.
Right.
You never know.
True, but the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better anytime soon. So
yeah, I know. It's put a damper on ghost hunting this year.
absolutely has.
Yeah.
Makes it so much harder to travel.
Yeah, it botched my summer, so I had so many plans to do things and concerts and ghost hunts, and I'm just like, I'm tired of being at home.
I think concerts is what killing you the most.
Concerts is what's killing me. Good Lord. Just one good concert. That's all I want.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, think about the musicians, how hard it is for them right now not to be able to perform.
Well, a lot of them have been doing it like online.
Yeah, virtual. Yep.
Metallica just had that they performed live and they televised it like on like drive-in theater.
I was gonna say on the drive-in theater that was Metallica.
Yeah, it was Metallica.
Yeah. Yeah, and Nuno Betancourt had something on TV recently too. I think him and a bunch of other people, Brian May. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw the bits and pieces of it, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, a lot of them are doing like online stuff and virtual events. Which is I guess is okay for the time being.
Right. Right.
The time.
Yeah. Right. But wow. All right. So I can't believe it's been an hour. An hour goes fast. The hour of the podcast goes like it feels like 5 minutes. It's like we have to have you guys back on again in the near future and do it again. Is there anything that you could share with our listeners and viewers, like your Facebook? Where can people follow you guys? I know you got a Farm on Round Top Road Facebook page. If you want any information you want to give anybody a special shout out, go right ahead. You guys have the whole floor.
Well, the website again, theconjuringhouse.com. Our daughter started a TikTok page, which she's loving, Madison Heinzen. So you can look her up. She does a bunch of TikTok videos and she is having so much fun with it. She's like, she's one that doesn't get to come down here very often because she's always up in Maine and she's in college and she gets to come a handful of times, which don't let her fool you. She's chicken. She doesn't love to be there because she's scared anyways, but I think this lightens it for her. So she definitely loves doing the TikTok. So look that up. She'll love it.
Cool. And how about you, Cory? Any special shout outs or anything going on you want to share with our listeners?
I hate everybody, so.
I don't.
He's such a big teddy bear, huh?
You're a nice guy, Cory. I don't want to tell everybody that big secret that you're a really super nice person. But no, I really appreciate you guys being on the Strange Oddities podcast. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks for taking your time to be on the show. Again, we have to do this again in the future. Guys, if you
Halloween.
Yeah, that would be cool. If you guys don't mind, just stay on the line with me. When I say goodbye to my listeners right now, so I'll say goodbye to you guys in a little bit. I'm going to go to solo mode here. I hope everybody enjoyed my wonderful guest tonight on the Strange Oddities podcast, Miss Jen and Mr. Cory Heinzen. Thanks for being on the show. Guys, next week I have Mr. Steve DeChave from the Dead Files, as everybody is familiar with that on the Travel Channel with Amy Allen. I'm hoping to announce it officially September 10th. I'll have Steve DeChave on as a guest. If not, I'll let you guys know who is going to be a guest. Sometimes it's tough for them depending on their schedule. I had to reschedule him the last time, but we're hoping to have him on next week. And the following week, guys, we have Gary Greener, paranormalist, and myself. We're going to be talking about the Philadelphia experiment and is it possible to do time travel. We're going to talk about the Montauk Project and how that's connected with the Philadelphia experiment, which was a great movie. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you go check it out. There's a couple of books out by William Moore and William Preston and Peter Moon that did some books on the Philadelphia experiment and Project Rainbow, I believe it was called. But Gary and I are really interested in that stuff, so it's going to be a really great conversation. And that's going to be September 17th, so you want to bookmark and save that date. So guys, I'm going to play our exit here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight's show, and I want to wish everybody well, be well, and you guys have a great night. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Strange Oddities Podcast. You can listen to the rebroadcast on the KGRA Radio. Check out kgraradio.com for the rebroadcast at 2 a.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. Pacific Time. You can catch the Strange Oddities Podcast live every week at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow our YouTube channel for our live weekly show at 8 p.m. If you like the show, please give us feedback. Email us at strangeodditiespodcast@gmail.com. You can also visit our website, strangeodditiespodcast.wordpress.com. Tune in every week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the YouTube channel. You can also look us up on Facebook. We have a Facebook page where all the news and information about upcoming guests and anything Strange Oddities Podcast is doing. Go to our Facebook page, give us a like, and give us a shout. Thanks a lot for tuning in. And again, thanks again for the KGRA for rebroadcasting the Strange Oddities Podcast.